Hey folks, it's King from Stay Tuned Sports, and I gotta tell you, I love energy drinks. They help give me that boost that I need to finish all my work, get through game film recaps from all of Sunday's games, and they provide that pick-me-up during a very long week. What I don't love is that crash and the jitters, the gross feeling you get with most other energy drinks. And that's why I tried Dubby, and I gotta tell you, Dubby is a game changer with flavors like Dragonade, Beach and Peach, Galaxy Grenade, and my personal favorite, the Dub Sludge. You can find your favorite or just get them all. There's no jitters, there's no crash because there's no sugar in Dubby. Plus, Dubby contains Neurofactor, an all-natural ingredient derived from coffee cherries, which has been linked to enhance brain function. You go on over to dubby.gg right now. That's dubby.gg to grab the best energy drink you've ever had. And if you enter the code STSports18 in all caps, you'll get 10% off your order. That's STSports18 to get 10% off of Dubby. Be better.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You heard the rest. Now here's the best. Stay Tuned Sports Podcast.
And hello there, all you Stay Tuners. Welcome back to another episode of Stay Tuned Sports. It's your good friend Jimbo here, back with King. After a very good weekend for me, at least. And well, I guess you too, because the Giants won.
Oh, it was a great weekend. Dude, the Giants are 2-0. We're top of the division. The Giants and Eagles are on the top of the division. Man,
what was the
what
stat,
is it like being here?
What was the stat that it was a photo a photo you shared on Facebook, I think it was, that said this is the first time they're 2-0 or something. It was like a couple hours after the game. I wish I would have.
Well, again, this is the first time the Giants have been 2-0 since 2016. Again, last week was the first time the Giants were 1-0 since 2016. So, and it was the first time we were above 500 since 2016. So, yeah, we're up 2-0. And I honestly, I know people are gonna like shit on the fact that the Giants, you beat a Titans team which obviously isn't that good this year, and what'd you do? You beat Baker Mayfield and the terrible Panthers? Whatever. For me, this is what I look at. Those are games the Giants lose for the last 4 years. When it gets down to the gritty part, when it gets down to where you have to close the game out, that's where the Giants always messed it up. They always messed it up.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. We actually closed out a game. Daniel Jones actually helped to close out a game and didn't fumble the ball away or throw an interception or do anything silly. Like, the Giants didn't do anything dumb with the ball at the end of the game. Like, yeah, Saquon wasn't great for the first half and the first bit of the third quarter, but you kind of saw towards the end of the third quarter and the fourth quarter, the Titans defense, the Panthers defense got worn down. And that's when Saquon was able to start getting some yards, be able to put stuff together. Graham Gano, again, baller, had a great game as special teams. And listen, would I like to have touchdowns on those first couple drives where we got the turnovers against the Panthers? Absolutely. But the fact of the matter is we still got points and we still closed out the game when it was important. Now, there's a lot to clean up and there's always a place to get better. But, man, the Giants are fucking 2-0. I'm not going to sit here and look a gift horse in the mouth, man.
Well, I'll tell you this. There's probably two things I'll take away from that game. Other than the Eagles game Monday night, Giants game was really the only one I watched. Had other things going on.
Right.
They look so much like the 2017 Eagles. Like, I
don't say that. I first of all, I find that insulting.
Well, what I mean is like that underdog mentality. No one's giving us a shot. Daniel Jones, I'm not saying playing like Carson Wentz where he was an MVP, but just not like almost like not worrying about the noise, just going out and playing. Now, like you did say, if there was a bad part of the game that, a bad takeaway, yes, when you get takeaways, you got to get more than 3 points.
And listen, I was okay with even the first one coming away with 3 points, fine, whatever. But on that second one, and you're starting your first 2 drives within the other team's 35-yard line, 40-yard line, whatever it was, like you got at least on one of those, you got to get 6.
Yeah,
you got to get 6. So again, that's still a bit of a problem there with the Giants. Seem to be stalling in the red zone. And the offensive line still has some work to do. Like again, Neal, our guy from Alabama. There are moments where it's like, okay, I can see where he can be a great offensive lineman, but there's still a lot of there where it's like, man, this guy is a rookie in the NFL and he's getting beat like a rented mule, man. Like it's a little back and forth there, but there's still, again, there's hope and there's signs of improvement, and that's what I mean. There's signs of it's getting better instead of, oh, this is the best we can do, or this is where we're plateauing, or anything like that. It's like if it feels different, and I think Dable's a big part of that.
Yeah, definitely.
And maybe that goes to the whole Peterson thing, like you're trying to compare the Giants with the Eagles from 2017, because again, he seemed to be a bit of a breath of fresh air in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what Dable is here with the Giants, is just a little bit of that. He put the confidence in the team, like when he went for the 2 points in Tennessee and stuff like that. He put the confidence in the team. Said, I trust my defense, I trust my running game, I trust the players. If I put them in a position for them to do their job, and so far they have. So we'll see. Now we got a big one coming up on Monday night against the Cowboys.
Which even then, I don't want to jinx you, because I text you, let's go Daniel Jones, and you said to me, why are you rooting for him? I'm rooting for Daniel Jones. I'm not rooting for the Giants. I mean, you are 99% correct. As Daniel Jones goes, the Giants goes, and that kind of did show with this game too. If he was the Daniel Jones of the past couple of years, like you said, you guys would have lost.
Right.
But I have to laugh a little bit at you, basically coming across like I'm just taking these wins step by step, not reading into it. And that's how I was in 2017 until about the 5th, 6th week. And I was like, this might be something here. And even Monday night, this past Monday night with me, I text you. I am here to announce officially, I'm on the Jalen Hurts bandwagon.
How can you not be?
The second rushing touchdown he had, at first I thought he started to push in at the 10. When I text you, he has that grit because he took 2 guys.
Right.
He started
he's
at
a
the
dog.
20. Yeah, he just like, Hurts from last year probably would have ran that out of bounds where he looked like he was running out of bounds there. But he cut back in, took one defender head on, and then dragged another one into the end zone.
Well, that's why you squat 600 pounds. And I think everybody's kind of seen the video now of Jalen Hurts. I think it was back in Alabama or something like that where he was squatting 600 pounds. He's probably still doing that. And listen, that's why you do that. So that when you get into when you get that first contact on a 7-yard line, you're going from quarterback to power back and pushing through like you're Earl Campbell.
Yeah.
And getting into the end zone. And this is the thing. Watching some of the coverage, watching some of the replays, and seeing some people break it down. The Vikings had some questionable coverage calls.
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed to me maybe there was some defensive confusion or whatever. But whatever the case is, Jalen Hurts still had to hit the passes to his guys, which he did. And that the Eagles were never out of control of that game. Yeah. That was their game. Unfortunately for the Vikings, primetime Kirk Cousins showed up again. And that's going to be the knock on him until he changes. I think he's got one primetime win.
Yeah, he's
in his
one
career, 1 or 2. I can't remember exactly, but it's not great when the lights are bright. That's when you're supposed to be at your best.
Yeah.
And Cousins has never quite been that. He's a good quarterback. He's got good stats. He can win you games, and he can get you into the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing that. I like Kirk Cousins as a quarterback. But there's just something when those big old halogen lights come on the top of the stadium, man, he does not play well. And I don't know why. But again, it showed up this week. He had some errant throws, picks in spots where you couldn't have them. And only getting 7 points is not going to do it.
And you can't say he doesn't have an offense around him. I mean, even if you take Justin Jefferson away, you still have Dalvin Cook, who's top 5, top 10 running back. Adam Thielen, which I was surprised how quiet the past 2 years he's been. You know, before Jefferson got there, he was the man alongside Diggs. And then when they traded Diggs, he was supposed to be the man. And now he's just like an afterthought.
But here's the thing, then the question becomes, is that Kirk Cousins or is that the coaching staff, the offensive coordinator? Like, what is it? Like, again, they got rid of Zimmer.
I think it's
for a lot of this reason.
I think it's Kirk Cousins. I mean, like I said, you got the offense around him.
Yeah, but if you don't have the plays to call it to the people in the offense there, like, you know, yes, you have Dalvin Cook. Why isn't he getting the ball more? Yeah, you have Thielen there. Why isn't Thielen getting more looks? Why does it seem to be Justin Jefferson or nobody? And Stephon Diggs, when he was in Minnesota, had a very antagonistic relationship with Cousins and with the organization itself, it seemed like. And I remember when they made that trade, everybody was like, well, the Bills are just acquiring a headache now. Maybe this actually is going to benefit Minnesota, getting him out of there and doing that. But as we've seen with Buffalo, Diggs doesn't seem to have a problem with Josh Allen or the Bills organization. Moving on to the first Monday night game that happened this past week. Holy shit, man!
Dude,
the Bills are a wagon.
I was following just comments on Twitter, and I was reading, come on, Bills, they have a family. Stop doing blah blah. I'm thinking, okay, Bills are up 20-7 or whatever. What was the final score? 42 to.
I think it was 41-7.
Jesus! When I saw them say they're putting Malik Williams, is it Williams or Willis?
Malik Willis. Yeah.
When they were putting him in halfway through the third quarter, I'm like, wait a second, how bad is this? And that's when I looked up the score. I was like, holy shit.
Okay, but here's the thing. Malik Willis doesn't play defense.
No, I know. But...
So, everybody wants to sit there and blame Tannehill. Listen, Tannehill for the last, 2 or 3 years in Tennessee has been a lights-out quarterback. He's been very good for them. And again, Tennessee was the number 1 AFC seed last year. Until they ran into the luck buzzsaw that was the Bengals, and apparently that's what it was last year. All luck for the Bengals. We'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, people, you can cry there and sit there and say, "Oh, we need Malik Willis in there. We need put in Malik. That's fine." Malik Willis doesn't play defense.
Yeah.
And again, you put in Malik Willis, and what happened? Nothing. Nothing happened in that game. Nothing changed. There was no more points scored for Tennessee. Nothing happened. It's not a case of, well, if we put in a new quarterback, that's going to change everything. No, in some cases that'll work. And again, we'll talk about San Francisco later.
I was just thinking about that.
But, in a lot of cases, it's just, listen, your team sucks. And putting in a new quarterback into a team that sucks isn't going to change anything. And we'll talk about the Colts later. So, you know what I'm saying? You could put somebody new in, you could take somebody else out, you could do all that. But, a quarterback is not a wizard. He's not going to change everything immediately. You have to have some kind of scheme or tools around you. And it seems like when it comes to the Titans, if you stop Derrick Henry, you stop them.
Yeah.
Because then they don't have to, because especially with the Bills, once you get a couple touchdowns behind, you have to abandon the run anyway, and then it's open season.
Yeah. And I don't agree with putting Willis in there. Just because, coming out of college, they already said he was going to need time to, sit and learn. And You put him into a game like that, where I'm sure Tannehill was getting pressured a lot. It could destroy a young quarterback's confidence, and now you're screwed for the future.
I think Taylor Lewan was hurt on the line, so they were missing some. They had some key pieces on the line that were gone. So yeah, okay. Buffalo was coming after him. They hit him and everything like that. But I agree with you on that point. I was like, listen, if you're gonna make that switch, if you're gonna go from Tannehill to Malik, give the kid a full week with the ones. Give him a full week of preparation and start the next game. Like putting him in there does nothing except expose him to getting murdered by probably the best team in the NFL right now this season. And again, it's a long season. We got a long way to go. But who the fuck is stopping the Bills, man? Like who? Like
I got one team, but I'm not saying it for another week or two.
What do you think? It's the Chiefs still?
No, I think the Chiefs are still a little bit overrated. I'm not ready to put my my money on them just yet. I need to see a little bit more.
I don't see them. Well, I got a doorbell going. Look at that. Ding dong, everybody here. You know what that was? That's the Buffalo Bills coming here to murder me now because they're just murdering everybody in the NFL.
I'm gonna screw it. I'm gonna probably jinx them, but I want to see a Philly-Buffalo Super Bowl. I think Philly would put up a good fight with them. Whether some people have predicted that even before the season. Philadelphia was a lot of people's dark horses. I wasn't.
Which from you, I'd be scared.
Yeah, I wasn't one of them. Did I think they could make the playoffs? Definitely. Did I think they could make it deep into the playoffs? I was questioning it because we've seen plenty of times you bring in a lot of free agents or you trade for a lot of these pieces. And it takes time for those pieces to gel, especially now that a lot of the off-season practices aren't there like in the past. And the key pieces are just clicking right off the bat, right from week one.
I'll tell you what, watching both those games, there was one team that really enjoyed having A.J. Brown, and there's one team that really, really misses having A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
And guess who's which? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that's I don't like saying it, but you know, because I was not a believer in Philadelphia before the season. I was not a believer of the hype where everybody was like, "Oh, I think the Eagles can do this. Oh, the Eagles could win the division. Oh, the Eagles are a dark horse to go to the Super Bowl from the NFC. I think they're a true NFC contender." And I was like, "Blow me!" Like, no, screw the Eagles. Never the Eagles. Fuck the Eagles. Blah blah blah. I'm never going to be on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
But you know, you watch these first two games, and it's like, you know, well, maybe. You know, like they don't. Here's the thing. They haven't shown anything in these first 2 weeks to show that they can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they have it all there. And if Jalen Hurts continues to play the way he does, and if you know, the receivers keep on doing this stuff and the defense plays well, again, you held the Vikings to 7 points, and the Vikings, you know, beat the Packers. Which is no small feat, although everybody's going to say, well, it's week one, and the Packers always suck in week one, and, you know, that is what it is. You know, it's still a good showing. It's still a good performance. Again, it's only week 2 for both your Eagles and my Giants, which is why I'm not freaking out. I'm not saying, oh, Giants are going to be in the Super Bowl or, you know, or anything like that. But, you know, I've seen positive steps. And again, if you're an Eagles fan out there like you are, or anybody else that's listening is an Eagles fan, like you have to be pretty excited for what you see too. It's like, you know, this could be a special season. This could be a season where we go on a run again.
I just hope, you know, the Eagles keep playing how they're playing, Giants keep playing how they're playing. And when we play with each other. Oh boy!
Whoa! Phrasing.
Play each other. We could get back to our rivalries when Strahan was still with the Giants, Runyon was still with the Giants. It was some good battles. It wasn't
back in the late '90s and 2000s. Yeah. There were peak Giants Eagles rivalry. I miss those years where it was a war every year, and that's what I mean. For the last 10 years, it's been a murder scene with Philadelphia. I think the Giants have won twice in the last 8 years or something like that. Like it's terrible.
I'll tell you what. If I could work the kinks out, because I was actually thinking about this at work today. If I could work the kinks out, we should do a live show when the Eagles and Giants play for live reactions.
I definitely want to do that. I definitely want to do that. And however we broadcast it on YouTube or Facebook or whatever we want to do with that, and we can Zoom it, both have ourselves there or whatever we want to do. I've been getting a lot of ads for, different streaming things like, hey, do you want to stream your podcast? Do a video stream? Here's how you do it. It's like, all right, first of all, Google, stop spying on me. Yeah. Second of all, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, and I definitely would want to do that. And we have enough time because for some reason they put both the Giants-Eagles games really late this season.
Well, they did that either last season or season before. They played the Giants and they played the Cowboys, and then they went back to playing the Giants.
Yeah, last season we were late in the season too. And I'll be honest, this is the thing is the Giants are playing the Cowboys for Thanksgiving this year.
Okay.
In Dallas. So that's what I mean. This is the earliest that I think I've ever remembered the Cowboys coming up to Jersey to come play the Giants. Because usually what ends up happening is the Cowboys end up coming to the Meadowlands usually around like November or sometimes even December, which I always liked because it's like, Cowboys got to play in cold weather, so go screw yourselves. I like that. But yeah, no, they're coming up early this year. I'm excited for that game. Although I got to tell you, man, I was not expecting Cooper Rush to be as good as he is in handling that offense. And so I don't know if it's a case of are the Cowboys actually okay, and will they be able to win games like this, or is it just are the Bengals fucking cooked?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not buying into Cooper Rush just yet. It's only 1 week. How many? Like, we've seen the year that Dak broke his ankle, and that rookie came in and he won a game, and then he went up against Philly and they did all the trick plays to try to beat us, and we destroyed them.
Well, they also had Andy Dalton there, and that's when he got crushed by the fucking, I forget who they were playing. He got crushed by defensive. They got like 5 people on him. They treated him like shit, and then nobody from the Cowboys went to help him up.
Yeah,
and it's like, boy, that team just doesn't care. That team just gave up.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's going to be the same case here, where with everything. And like you said, it's been 1 week. We don't know if it's the case of the Cowboys maybe figured something out, or if the Bengals are just that bad. Because again, the Bengals came back and had a chance at the end. It didn't happen for them, but I thought the Bengals were supposed to. They addressed the offensive line issues in the offseason. Like, that was the big thing. Is like, man, the Bengals, they made it to the Super Bowl with their offensive line being the way it is. Now that they've kind of revamped it and worked on it, Bengals going to be really dangerous this year. And Joey Burrow's been hit and sacked more times than any quarterback in the first 2 weeks, and it's not even close to the numbers. So I don't know what's going on in Cincinnati, but I mean, they're starting off 0-2, man. I think they're cooked already.
Yeah, especially that they're not showing really any signs of being back to that last year's performance, however you want to say it. But they better figure out the offensive line soon, because we've seen what happened with Carr in Houston a few years back. Not Derek Carr, David Carr.
Yeah, back in the early 2000s when he was dressed with them. They destroyed his career because he got murdered every game.
And when he was able to play and stand up, he wasn't a bad quarterback. It wasn't like that he was a shitty quarterback. It's just that he had no offensive line, no time. And if they don't figure out with Burrow, I mean, they're what, third, fourth season into his career? He'll bounce. He'll. If I was him, I'd get out of Cincinnati if this keeps going.
They have to do something. Now, granted, pardon me, it seems like they're moving towards, again, they sold naming rights for the stadium, which they never thought they would do. They're building an indoor practice facility. They're investing in the future. They're making sure that they're going to have the funds and money available to have Joey Burrow there when the contract time comes up and everything like that. But like you said, listen, that's fine. But at the end of the day, like if you're going to be having this kid getting murdered every game, like invest in an offensive line now while you can.
Yeah.
And apparently they supposedly did so in the offseason, but whoever they got in the offseason fucking sucks.
See,
because they have gotten just beaten every single time.
Remember.
The Steelers beat them. Now, you went up against TJ Watt and Micah Parsons in your first two games. Granted, that's, two fantastic, great defensive players. Obviously, you had one who was defensive player of the year, but you can't, like, that's your job. Yeah. Stop them at least some of the time. Like, sure, maybe they'll get in and they'll get a sack or two, but he had 6 sacks against the Cowboys.
Yeah,
and I think he had 6 or 7 against with the Steelers.
Yeah, I think
this guy's already been sacked 13 times in 2 weeks. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I think they say a total of 15 times in 2 weeks, and maybe that goes to coaching too. Because if you see your offensive line having a hard time blocking people, keep a tight end in or have running backs chip, and then if they can't do that, then it's the players.
But how much of this is also Burrow's fault for holding on to the ball too long? Listen, at some point, and this is something that he even says, like, he's going to try to the last second to make a play, and that he doesn't mind getting hit, and he feels like he's not into the game until he gets hit, and that he's a football player and he wants, he doesn't mind the violence and anything like that. And everybody's telling him, listen, that's fine, but also, take care of yourself, because you're, again, like you said, David Carr with the Texans back in the day, that guy, he had to leave because he got murdered every game. Like, he just finally had to say, like, I can't do this anymore. So, like, but how much of that is just, like, at some point, like, if your offensive line isn't going to be there, like, if they're just not doing that well, I think as the coaching staff, you have to do either more, short passes, screen passes, something like that. Maybe do some runs, something.
Yeah.
Where you're not asking your quarterback to take a 5-step drop or hold on to the ball for 3 to 5 seconds. And if you're Joey Burrow, take a 3-step drop. Look, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, get rid of the ball.
Yeah.
Just get rid of it. Because if you don't do that, you're going to get murdered. So at some point, you're going to have to adjust yourself and adjust your scheme in order to survive.
Yeah. So kind of circle back to Tennessee, and to bring this, question up. Do you think there's any coaches on the hot seat already? Do you think Vrabel should be on the hot seat?
I think Vrabel's on a hot seat. No, his team was the number 1 team in the AFC last year. They'll figure some things out. Again, he didn't get rid of AJ Brown for some reason. The GM did. Maybe the GM's on the hot seat.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I don't understand. Like, when that trade happened, a lot of people kind of were left like, man, that's a great trade for the Eagles, but what the fuck? Like, why?
Yeah.
So there was that. So I wouldn't put Vrabel on the hot seat. Denver's new head coach, his first 2 games, I'd put that motherfucker on a hot seat right now anyway. He has no clue what he's doing.
You're a bad coach when your fans are helping you count down the game clock so you can get the ball off.
Tell me that wasn't the greatest thing you've ever seen in your life.
I didn't see it or hear it, but I read a headline. I was
watching.
Oh my god, that was.
I was watching
hilarious.
it on Red Zone, and they went back to the game because that was it. They were again having problems. They had to delay a game where they were going to go for a field goal, but they had to delay a game that didn't have to be out there, so they had to go back. So they had to punt. Like, it was a mess. There was a whole thing. So from that point forward, the rest of the game, after seeing what had happened on the previous Monday night, and then seeing what was happening in this game, from that point forward, every time they had the ball and Russell Wilson's back, the crowd started counting down with the play clock to let them know. Like, it was peak trolling, but also it's like, it seems like they had to do that. Otherwise, nobody else was going to do it for them. Like, the coach wasn't paying attention to the clock. Nobody else, it seemed to be like, usually when you're a brand new coach, you'll have like veteran coaches there as either offense, defensive coordinator, somebody like that, and usually they'll kind of give you a nod or let you know, like, that you should be paying attention to this or this.
Yeah.
But I forget his fucking loser McLoserton. He doesn't have anybody on his staff that's like a veteran coach. They're all like kind of new coaches.
Yeah.
Like they're all young, new, fresh-faced coaches. So I think it's a case where nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. And so you get into these situations or these pressure times where you have to make a decision, or you have to, like, okay, is this what we're doing, or is this what we're doing, or what's the time, and what's the situation, what's the down, and what's all this? And he doesn't know what to do. And nobody else is there giving him a little nudge. Is like, hey, maybe you should do this, or hey, look at the play clock, maybe call timeout, or do anything like that. And in the first 2 weeks, we've seen that. And like, we had thought that Denver getting rid of Nick Fangio and getting Russell Wilson, it looks like they were just there on the cusp these last couple of years. They just needed to get a quarterback, and they got Russell Wilson. So now here the Broncos are. They're definitely going to be a team that you got to watch out for. Now, granted, they did win the game on Sunday, but
that was ugly.
They won in spite of themselves, not because of anything else they did. And it's like, if I'm in Denver, man, I'm worried. Like this whole thing can implode. I've never seen a coach look that, like, even Adam Gase had some semblance of an idea of what the fuck he was doing. He wasn't good at it, but he had a sense of what he was doing.
Yeah.
This guy seems like if you or I all of a sudden got made to be a head coach, got hired to be a head coach.
Yeah.
And now all the shit that we talked on here about how we would know how to do things and everything like that, if we're standing on the sidelines, we'd fucking freeze.
Oh, yeah.
We'd have no idea what the fuck we were doing.
Yeah.
And that's what it seems like. It seems like it's too big for this guy. And man, if I'm in Denver, I'm worried. That's a concern for me. Whereas, like, being a Giants fan, like seeing Dable and being like, hey, we got a guy who believes in the team, seems to understand what he's doing. They seem to make good adjustments at halftime and change game plans and fix things that seem to maybe not be going right. So you feel confident in your coach and your coaching staff. Denver, if I'm a Broncos fan, I'm not instilled with any confidence after these first 2 weeks. I'm like, oh man, we're wasting Russell Wilson.
Yeah. How about Frank Wright? Do you think he should be on the hot seat? I mean,
that motherfucker should be fired already. Like, I'm sorry.
I mean,
listen, if you can't win in Jacksonville, you can't. It's been shown. It doesn't matter who the coach is, apparently, or who the quarterback is, or what the team is. They haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014, I think.
Holy Jesus.
And not only did you not listen, Jacksonville beat you at the end of last year to keep you out of the playoffs. When all you had to do was win and you're in. That's all.
Yeah.
That's what caused all the craziness last year about, can the Steelers make the playoffs? And then the Raiders and Chargers game meant something. If the Colts had won that game, all of that becomes moot. It's like it didn't matter if the Colts would begin. But the Colts lost that game that they should have won against a team that was the number one draft pick team. They got the number one spot. Yeah. They were the worst team in the NFL, and you lost to them when it was basically a playoff game for you. So that's bad enough. So what do you do in the offseason? You get rid of Carl Wentz there. You get him. You send him out to Washington. Which he was terrible.
By the way, was his guy. He wanted him on that team.
Right. Yeah, that's supposedly the guy. But, the people there ran out of patience. Oh, no. Because Wentz, when he's good, he's very good.
Yeah.
But he will also sometimes do some of the dumbest shit in the world.
Yeah.
And it's, it's that fire and ice shit you got to play with. So they get rid of him. They bring in Matt Ryan, and it's like almost kind of has the same feeling as the Broncos did. Like, they have a good defense. They have some weapons on offense. They have Pittman, who didn't play. He was injured during the game. So, again, they didn't have a lot of weapons or anything for the game. But that's still no excuse to get shut out by the Jaguars. And here we are. You change your quarterback. You think that's going to change stuff. You build a team. You get all that. And you go second week. First of all, you tie your first week to the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
Which, a tie, whatever. And then you go and play Jacksonville, one of the bottom feeders of the NFL right now. And you not only lose, but you get shut out. That's a game that cost people's jobs. I'm surprised Frank still has one.
And not just shut out, like destroyed. What was it?
It was what, 24-0?
24-0, yeah.
Yeah. To Jacksonville.
Yeah.
To Jacksonville. The Jaguars. Duval. Are you kidding me? Like, that's a game that you should be fired over. Like, there are just some games. I think they call them tarmac games.
Yeah.
Ever since that one time where Lane Kiffin got left on a tarmac because he lost so bad. I think that was with, Alabama or somebody?
Yeah.
They just left his ass on the tarmac and said, okay, you can find your own way home. Like that game, that Colts game against the Jaguars, that's a tarmac game. That's one where it's like, Frank, we thank you for your services, but, take an Uber because you're not flying back with the team. Like,
speaking of tarmacs, did you see about Herm Edwards, Arizona State?
I saw when he walked off the field, they had the AD and the school president were there waiting for him, and
right at the
kind
end
of gave him
zone.
the talk. Yeah,
They didn't even let him get even onto the team bus or anything. Get to the airport. They said, "No, you're done."
Well, listen, a lot of people were not thrilled, apparently, in the ASU community that he was still the head coach going into this season. So he was kind of on a short leash, as it was. And then when you lose to Eastern Michigan, you're going to face that. So, Herm knows what it was.
Yeah,
Everybody kind of saw the writing on the wall. At least they did. Like, here's the thing: they went on the field. They looked him in the eye, shook his hand. Like they didn't do it sneakily. They didn't like that. They kind of went on the field like, hey, listen, Herm, we're gonna have to have a discussion. And Herm knew what it was.
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen
as soon as he lost that game, Herm knew what it was.
Yeah, if you've seen the video, you could see his face. When he met with them in the end zone, he knew what was coming.
When he saw, like, once that game, like, he didn't even have to see that. Once that game was over, once they got to that point, he knew. Herm's not stupid. I like Herm Edwards, I really do. It just didn't work out in Arizona State, and that's that is what it is. But what else are you gonna do? It's a shame. It made for a meme-worthy video, and maybe that's the bad part of it. That's the part of it that maybe is unfortunate among anything else. That's what came out.
It sucks because I like Herm Edwards. When he was with the Jets, he had some good press conferences of like some
he's got
quotes
fantastic quotes. Yeah,
like he's up there with Dennis Green.
But again, neither one of them won anything, and that's the problem. When it all comes down to it, you can have great quotes, and you can be a likable guy, and very personable. But like he said with the Jets, you play to win the games. Yeah. And when you don't win the games, you get told you're no longer required. And that's what happened to him. The same thing happened to Nebraska 2 weeks ago with Scott Frost, and then they got Oklahoma drilled by Oklahoma.
Actually, I want to bring this up real quick because I know you're a huge fan of this former player. You see, Pat McAfee is eligible for a Hall of Fame.
I don't know about Pat McAfee, but I know Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Same person.
I was actually watching the Pat McAfee show when that actually came up, and he looked genuinely surprised when it happened, and that was I think this is one of the first years where they're having a designated section for special teams people to be nominated, whether or not they get to the final part or not. That still goes to the voting and everything like that. But they're actually able to be nominated, like, for being special teams now. So that's why you got Shane Leckler was on there. There were obviously a few others who I'm not remembering right now. But Pat McAfee's name was put up there too. Does he make it in? Probably not, unfortunately. I would say, because what a fucking Hall of Fame speech that would be. Dude,
that's why I'm thinking he would be. I mean, yeah, they're gonna look at the stats and all that horse shit that they always do, but everybody loves him. Like all fans across the world probably love him.
Well, this goes to my argument about what a Hall of Fame is, because a lot of people always scream about, well, this person was good, but he didn't have the stats, or, oh, Joe Namath is the worst person to be in a Hall of Fame. His stats are terrible, and there's always this argument of who's this and who's that. Look at the stats and look at that. But to me, it's not the Hall of Stats; it's the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, exactly.
And to me, it's like who was who was the name? Who was famous? Who can you tell the story of the game and not mention this person? And like, so when you think of like that, can you mention the sport of football without mentioning Joe Namath? No, you fucking can't.
Yeah.
Joe Namath is a huge part of football. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame. Do his stats match up with Dan Marino or somebody like that? Maybe not, but it doesn't matter. He was famous, and he brought fame to the game. I mean, he was Broadway Joe, man. You know what I mean? Like, to me, things like that matter.
So with that thinking, should Nick Foles be in the Hall of Fame? I mean, he's going to be forever known for that 2017 season. You know, he only played good with Philly, never with anybody else.
Again, that's close because that was his thing. That was his only thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't think so. Like, that moment will be in a Hall of Fame forever.
Yeah.
But I don't think Nick gets in there for that, because outside of that, there was nothing else that was truly, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he loomed that large in the football world. The argument I'll make for McAfee, though, was he was the punter that everybody knew the name of.
Yeah.
Like, in the time that he played, people knew the name of Pat McAfee because he used to hit stick people on returns.
Yeah.
He had the onside kick that he recovered himself. You know, he did when he did that one play, he did a fake and he passed it. They got a big gain, and he did the Vince McMahon strut down the field.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, but people knew Pat McAfee. And to be a punter who is known and famous for the brand, punters are people too, which is something that Rich Eisen tried to kind of rip off of him too. You know, like, there was always this, like, he was known, and he was known being a punter, which is even stranger. Like, that rarely you don't know, like, the average football fan can't name, you know, most of the punters in the league.
Yeah.
You know, but everybody knew who Pat McAfee was. And then obviously when he retired, he got bigger into the media and everything like that.
Yeah.
But I would argue that if there is a case for him to be in, that would be it. Is that it's, you know, maybe not his yards per kick, and maybe not for the amount of time that he played, but for the amount of time that he played, he was the punter that everybody knew.
Yeah.
And that people still know. So that's the same argument that I would make for most anybody when they argue about somebody, whether they should be in the Hall of Fame or not. I was like, were they famous enough? Were they a household name for people where they knew them? Because there's a lot of people in the Hall of Fame, nobody knows who the fuck they are.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Like, nobody's ever heard of their fucking name, but they have these stats and they have this and they played for this length, and it's like, okay, that's great, but I don't fucking know them.
Yeah.
So how is it a fame? How's it a Hall of Fame when they're not famous? I don't fucking know who these people are.
And that's
like, I would go with the people who you know.
That's why I hate, like, one of the arguments that everybody always uses. Well, how many Super Bowl rings does he have?
Who gives a fuck?
Exactly. He did not play all 11 positions on offense or play all 11 positions on defense. He played one position, and the other ones helped him. So that was a team win.
Granted,
that's a team
winning
ring.
Super Bowls will make you famous.
Yeah.
So there's that argument. I get that. But here's the other thing. If you can be famous and be that famous without having won a Super Bowl, I think that's even more impressive.
Yeah. Like Dan Marino.
Dan Marino is always the one everybody goes to. He played in one Super Bowl, never got back. I think it was his rookie year.
Yeah.
Super Bowl 19 against the Niners. But still, everybody considers to this day one of the best. But see, here's the thing with Dan Marino is that he has the stats too. Not only does he have the stats, you know, but he has the fame to go along with it. You know, shit.
Yeah.
I remember when I was growing up, I wanted a pair of isotoner gloves just because Dan Marino had the commercial for it. I don't even know what made isotoner gloves so special, but I wanted them. I was 8 years old, wanted myself a pair of isotoner gloves because Dan Marino said I should have it. You know, that's a thing. You know, to be that famous, even without having had a Super Bowl. You know, so Like you and people like that are in there. You know, like you have Jim Kelly went to 4 Super Bowls, doesn't have a ring, but can you tell the story of football without Jim Kelly?
Yeah.
Was there anybody bigger in Western New York and in the AFC in that time in the early '90s? The Buffalo Bills owned the AFC.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not like this whole knock, like you said. Like I think stats are relied on far too much. I think like the idea of Super Bowl rings, how many rings you got, that's relied on too much. Like people look at Eli. And they say, oh, well, fucking Eli, he clearly doesn't have the stats, and he wasn't ever that good. And, he got 2 rings. And listen, if Eli only had 1 ring, and it was that ring for the 18-1 Patriots, where the Giants beat them in 2007, that, along with also being in New York, I think that might have done it for him as well. Like Eli was, and I know you're going to yell at me because like, well, Nick Foles has one too. Yeah, but Nick Foles didn't do nearly what Eli had done.
Yeah, no, I could agree to that.
And the amount of moments that happened in the game, especially like when Eli got out of the scrum there in the thing, and then they threw, and it was the helmet catch, and it was like all the things that could have possibly happened. And he's also had some great performances too. Like I remember the 2011 NFC Championship game where the 49ers butchered him. They beat the shit out of him. And he always just got up, rubbed the mud off him, and went to the next play. That was, to me, to this day, that's the most impressive performance I ever saw from Eli Manning, was that 2011 NFC Championship game against the 49ers. So, like, again, then you get into an argument, well, what's this, what's that? I get all that. And maybe that's what it is. Stats are easier to do. You just like look at stats. Well, these numbers say. Yeah. So therefore, numbers don't lie, and you have that. Fine, whatever. But I always subscribe to the fact that it is the Hall of Fame. It is not the Hall of Stats. So I will go with the famous person more than the person that has maybe a better statistical record, but nobody knows who the fuck they are.
So if you would go with the more famous person, would you go with Chad Powers? Did you see that skit or no?
No.
Dude, seriously?
Oh, was that the skit that Eli did going to Penn State?
Yeah, he went to Penn State.
He was going to be the walk-on or whatever. Yeah, and then he took off his mask, and nobody still know who the fuck he was.
I mean, in his defense, it took him like a half hour to get it off, and even I was like, okay, I can see why they don't see him because he took the wig off. He still had that waxy-looking face. But I saw like a 30-second clip of it, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then I found the actual full video of it, and I watched it, and I just like obviously we don't like Penn State, screw them. But I'll give Franklin credit when he walked up to the team, the guys, and was like, there was one person disqualified. Quite frankly, his stats sucked. It's like, well, he did run a 5.49. But yeah, no, I actually was laughing at that. When he was doing the 40, dude, like you'll have to go look at the video, but he was running the 40, and the camera was looking down at him, and he's running with this like, looks like he's taking a really tough shit, and he's just repeating himself. Think fast, run fast. Think fast, run fast. In that stupid Eli voice. Oh my god, I was fucking crying.
I heard about it on the morning radio here with Boomer and Carson on WFAN in the morning. Or Geo, Carton. They moved Carton because he went to jail. I heard about it. I haven't watched it yet. I'll have to take a look at it. But for me, sometimes it's hard to watch. Like I have a hard time with cringe, and a lot of the stuff that the Peyton boys do, like the Manning boys do, there is cringe. Yeah. For a lot of it, you just kind of sit there and like, oh, like I know, but I don't know. Yeah. So it is what it is. But I'll tell you what, I love seeing both their personalities. That Monday Night Manning is some of the, I'd rather watch that, especially you got Joe Buck and Troy Aikman calling games now. Yeah. And especially like this Monday night with the Cowboys playing, I can't listen to Aikman call Cowboy games.
No.
I can't do it. So for nights like this, I'm thankful that the Manning cast is there, so I can watch the game and at least be somewhat entertained and watch the game and be okay with it. But
I was hoping that they did the Eagles game, but I had to watch the Aikman, Joe Buck version of it.
I was gonna say, I don't know if I sent you that text or not. I was gonna be like, I'm so sorry.
Well,
you have to suffer through Aikman.
In the beginning of the game, I was like, "This is gonna suck." And then when we got by 24 or by 17 points, I was like, "I know this is hurting him inside, and it's making me so happy." So before we go, we're gonna do our blue picks. But before King, you start crying about last week, tears. We have a little bit of announcement.
Ooh, announcement time! Special announcement, everybody.
Me and King, over the past, I don't know, 2-3 weeks, we've been opening up a Discord community. So we are actually going to have like a Stay Tuned Sports community on Discord. You guys could join. We have different channels for different sports, things like that. I'm going to put the link in the show notes here. All you got to do is just click the invite, read the rules, follow the rules, and you won't get booted. As King is the one who wrote the wording up for the rules. I had to laugh at them.
And we'll that's it. We'll post the link on Twitter as well and on other social media platforms so that everybody can see them, get to them, and everything like that. But that's a simple thing. Just read the rules. They're simple rules. They're very simple. Just so that we're making a good environment for everybody to just come, have some fun, shit talk their favorite teams, and just don't make it weird. That's all. Don't make it weird and don't make it bad. You give anybody a bad time, you're booted. You do anything that we say you're not supposed to do, you get booted. But that's not what we're there for. We're there just to have a good time, talk about how the Eagles suck, and the normal stuff, the usual stuff.
Or you guys, we actually do have a section on there, like a mailbag section that you guys could put your blue picks in, and I guarantee you'll do better than King.
0-6 already. Jesus Christ. Unbelievable.
I like, before I looked up your picks, I was like, he had to at least get one right. And I got down to the last one. I'm like, God damn it, King.
No, not a one. One of them I feel like I should have a mulligan on, but I'll let it go. But man, some of these other ones, like I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Like I think I just pick shit now, just for some reason. Can we do a quick overview of what our blue picks were last week?
Yeah, so before we give a overview of it, make sure you guys head over to W. That's the sponsor for our blue picks here. W.GG. Their energy drink. W gives you focus and energy without the crash or jitters. It has no sugar, fillers, or artificial flavors. And just to kind of give you guys a little secret here, I actually just drank some right before the show, so you guys could see I'm not like hyped up and speedy and all that stuff. So it's a good drink, no side effects at all.
Well, no, that's the thing. And anybody who's ever had energy drinks before, like whether you've had the bowl that's a particular color, or the I don't even know what another name for Monster would be, but there you go, whatever. Or if you're a rock star and you're drinking some of that stuff, like it's all great and stuff, but when you drink it, sometimes you get that weird feeling. You get that almost kind of weird buzzy kind of feeling. Then you get the crash, you get the jitters, you get all that kind of stuff. That's you love the quick boost you get from it, but it's everything else, all the other bullshit that comes with it that makes it like, man, maybe I shouldn't deal with energy drinks anymore. That's what W changes for you. You have W, it doesn't have any of that. And the great thing for me being a diabetic is no sugars, no carbs, no anything like that. So when you take it, you don't get that sugar crash afterwards. You don't get the jitters. You don't get any of that. You just get that energy boost that you're looking for. You get the focus that you're looking for. And all you have to do is go to w.gg. And when you're checking out, if you put in ST Sports 18, and that's all in capital letters, you get 10% off of your purchase.
And to give you guys a little tip, my wife actually just said to me yesterday, she was putting a half a scoop of the Dragonade in her smoothies to take to work, and she said it actually tastes even better. And it helps her get through her through her night. She's actually a CNA, so they're constantly running, so they need that energy. So
right, and that's the thing is because sometimes when you take it going to work, you're afraid, like, man, if I take this, by the time I hit lunch or that 1 or 2 o'clock after lunch period, man, I'm going to be crashing, and the rest of the workday is going to be hell. Like, I'm going to feel like shit, and I don't want anything to do with it. Well, That's the good thing with W is you don't get that. You can just take it in the morning. You get your little boost. You go on with your day. You get your little tumbler there with it, your little shaker cup. You drink it during the day. You don't have to worry about having that awful midday crash that you get with all the other energy drinks that are out there. You just use that, bang. And listen, what if you don't go to work? What if you just want to play some games? What if you just want to stay up late, play a little Madden, play a little NHL? What is it? What are we on? 23 now?
Well,
Hopefully
23,
coming out soon.
yeah,
Looks good. Yeah, you know. Well, I mean, it's EA, so it looks as good as it can for EA. Or no matter what you're doing, if you're gaming, if you're an artist, if you're going to work, if you're doing a podcast like we are, no matter what it is, if you just need that boost, W is the answer. And like we said, go to w.gg and put in the code STSports18 when you check out, 10% off of your purchase. Come on, you're going to get energy without the crash, without the jitters, and with 10% less of the cost into it. You can't beat it.
So, moving on to our blue picks here. So, kind of a review of last week. As of right now, I'm 6-0. King is
You were not 6-0.
I got. Oh no, yeah, that's right. You're right. 4-2, because I got one wrong last week and one wrong this week. You what?
I don't know. I don't pay attention enough to call you out for being a liar.
I was gonna say, coming from the person who made up a rule for our family picks to just give it to your nephew.
I didn't make a. Listen, it's not my fault that you both picked the same tiebreaker. He had one more win overall than you. What do you want me to do? There's no ties in this dojo. This ain't Houston, Indianapolis, man. We don't do ties here.
So last week, did you look up your picks for last week, or
I got who my picks were last week. Yes,
I'll let you do your rundown.
All right. Well, last week for the blue picks, I had as my blowout pick, I had the Bengals over the Cowboys.
Wonk wonk.
Whoops. Yeah. No. Apparently, I thought, hey, maybe the Bengals come out of this one. Joey Burrow does some good shit, and the Cowboys, they got Cooper Rush in there. What can they do? Well, apparently, I forgot that the Cowboys have Micah Parsons and the Bengals have toilet paper as their offensive line. So, whoops. Then my lock pick. I was going with the Brownie Elf at midfield Cleveland Browns over the New York Jets. And for 58 minutes and 40 some odd seconds, that looked like a good fucking pick. And then the Jets did the most un-Jet thing they've ever done in their entire history. And the Browns did the most Browns thing they've ever done in their whole history. And took that one away from you. So I lost the lock on that one. Still a hell of a game, though. Way to go, Jets. Like, my brother's a Jet fan.
Yeah.
You feel for them. You really do. Good to see them get something. It's good to see them get something like that. So congratulations to the Jets on that one, even though you fucked me over on my pick. And then for my upset pick, this is where I feel like I deserve a mulligan here. I'm just going to say this right now.
Okay.
I had as the upset pick, I had the Seahawks over the 49ers. Now, the only reason I made that pick was because I was sure that the Niners obviously were going to have Trey Lance as their quarterback, who has not been very good.
Okay.
And that the Seahawks, showing what they showed on that Monday night against Denver, could play well enough to beat a 49ers team that maybe the offense wasn't clicking right. Well, Trey Lance had his ankle click in a completely bad way that wasn't supposed to ever happen. He's got an extra joint in his leg now, which shouldn't be there. And so then what happens is what everybody was thinking might happen sooner or later after the Niners offense wasn't performing well. Well, now because unfortunately due to injury, and again, we hope that Trey Lance gets a speedy recovery, is a bad break for him in more ways than one. It's just a very bad break. And, you hope the kid eventually does get a chance to show that he can play. But, it's just an unfortunate situation all around for Trey Lance. But then you have Jimmy G come in, and all of a sudden, the 49ers look like the 49ers again. And they take care of business against Seattle relatively easily. And it's like, well, motherfucker, you know. So, yeah, those are my blue picks. 0 for 6 for the season so far. Let's see how bad my picks are going to be this week. But, Jimbo, who did you pick last week?
So the only loss I had was my blowout. I took the Broncos over Seattle.
No, that was the week before.
Oh, I didn't look at my picks.
Are you looking at week? Oh, so you double counted.
No, I definitely did have 2 and 1 because I deleted my picks from last week to start my new list.
So you have no idea who you picked?
No. Son of a bitch. Well,
So now I don't even know if you're lying. So I'm sorry.
How's it feel? How's it feel? You made up a rule. Now I made up a rule.
I didn't make up a rule. It's a rule. It's been there.
So we'll just
Game differential, goal differential, point differential. No, look at any league. That's what it is. That's what we do for the King James belt.
yeah.
It comes down to point differential.
Some of those rules you made up a couple times.
No, we came to those rules back in 2014, and we've been sticking by them. That's why I've only won twice, is because while the Giants only won 2 games, the point differential happened to be okay on that one time, so I was able to get it. All the other times, it's been fucking terrible anyway.
Well, so we'll just jump into our picks for this week then. I did pick 2 and 1 this week.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well,
I'm so sure.
Then King, head over to Podbean and listen to our episodes over there. All right, so I'll go first this week because I think you went. No, I went first last week to see if that helped you, but it didn't. Maybe this time it will. So you go first this time.
Okay. I'm just looking through the games right now, seeing which one I want to pick. There's a couple of interesting lines here.
Yeah, there is.
Man, okay. I think I got my blowout pick. And I'll go with this one. I'm gonna go with, even though they just came off a great game against the Colts. I'm gonna say that the Jaguars are probably gonna get blown out by the Chargers. I mean, I think it's just a different class level of football. They're playing in LA. The Chargers are favored by 7. I like, listen, Jacksonville, great showing. You shut out the Colts. But I think going into LA, I think you're getting hammered. So I'm gonna go with the Chargers, blowing out the Jacksonville Jaguars at SoFi as my blowout pick.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there. Chargers are just a different level than the Colts. For my blowout pick, I'm going KC over the Colts. KC's given 6.5. I mean, let's just be honest. KC is KC, and we see how the Colts are playing.
We've seen what the Colts are. Yeah.
So I mean, that's kind of like an easy pick. I'm actually surprised though that the line is that low.
Only 5.5. Yeah,
I got
insane.
6.5, but I was going off of ESPN. I'm not sure which one you're going off of.
I'm on FanDuel.
Okay.
And so what I'm seeing right now is now granted the Colts are at home, so you automatically get 3 points.
Yeah.
For being at home. So the fact that the Colts are plus 5.5 instead of being -3, it really is the what is it, 5, 6, 7, it's about an 8.5, 9 point spread if you look at it that way. Yeah, but I listen. I think that's pretty good. That could have been your lock too. That might actually be my lock.
Yeah, well, you can do it. I mean, is that what you want to do? Because lock is up now for you.
If the lock's up now, then I think that is actually what I'm going to do for my lock. I'm going to go ahead and take what your blowout game is. That's going to be my lock. I'm going to go Kansas City Chiefs over the Indianapolis Colts. Even if the Colts do show up, even if they do have some pieces come back on the defense, on the offense, they've done absolutely nothing to show that they're a competitive football team so far this year. And the Chiefs is the Chiefs, man. Like you said, the Chiefs is the Chiefs. Clearly, it's got to be Kansas City over Indianapolis. That is a stone cold lead pipe lock.
So you're going to keep playing if the Colts beat them?
Yes, I will bitch and moan. I will bitch and moan like a sore loser, like a small child, if the Colts beat the Chiefs. At that point, the fix is in. At that point, the NFL is listening to us and rigging it at that point.
Yeah.
The Colts are not beating the Chiefs. The Colts are not beating the Chiefs. Now let's go back a week from now and have replay this audio and let's see. But
yeah,
the Colts are not beating the Chiefs.
All right, so for my lock, this might be up there with my first week pick, kind of a shutting you up type pick. I'm I'm going with the Bengals over the Jets. I'm actually thinking like they need a team just to get a little bit of that confidence back. And I'm not saying that the Jets are, an 0-16 team, but it's the Jets, and they barely beat the Browns. I think Burrow finally is playing upright instead of on the ground. And
no, he's not. He's on the ground the whole game. And the Jets defense, I'll say this, the Jets defense is a good defense.
No, I'm saying
the Jets problem is not their defense, it's their offense.
Yeah, no, I'm saying this game coming up, he'll finally play upright.
No, he won't.
Okay, we'll see.
The Jets are good. Like I said, the Jets defense isn't the problem. And you put that Jets defense up against that Bengals offensive line, Joey Burrow is going to be buried next to Hoffa.
He's not out there. He's still alive somewhere. All right, so your upset pick?
Okay, upset pick. Now, this is picks that are 5.5 or above, correct?
Yes.
On the point spread? All right. Then for my upset pick, I am going to go with... I'm going with MCDC. And the Detroit Lions, they are 5.5 point dogs at Minnesota. Minnesota, I think, is still a good team. Detroit has defensive issues. I'm not going to say like their defense has problems, but first of all, Hutchinson looks like an absolute slam dunk as a number 2 draft pick.
Yeah.
Truly just a really, I mean, we had 3 sacks in the first quarter last week or in the game last week. Either way, he was a monster last week for Detroit against Washington. They played very well. Minnesota's going to be looking to bounce back. This is going to be, I think, a tough game for either one of them. It's going to be a close game, but I think Detroit gets this upset. And if they do, man, this is going to change the power dynamic in the NFC North tremendously. But that is my upset pick. I'm going to take the Detroit Lions over the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, I am picking the Lions as well.
Oh, yeah. Trying to copy my homework.
Oh, well, yeah, trust me, Mr. 0-6. No, I mean, just the same thing. They beat the Commanders this past weekend. And not only did that show how more impressive the Eagles win was against them, but again, they're just a better team, and that team just believes in each other, believes in the coach, their coach, and the Vikings. They're good. I just don't know if they're going to be.
Well, it's not in prime time, so Kirk Cousins should be good. But that's what I mean. So, it's going to be a game where this is a get-right game. This is a bounce-back game. So I think it's going to be a tougher game from Minnesota from that aspect. And like I said, Detroit obviously still has some deficiencies being Detroit.
Yeah.
But I think they're on the right road. I get a Giants feeling. Yeah. Like I feel Detroit and the Giants kind of have the same kind of feeling right now of like, no, are we world beaters? No. Are we going to the Super Bowl or even the playoffs this year? Maybe not, but we're on the right track. We're going up instead of down. We're going in the right direction. And I think that's the feeling. And I think with that, I think Detroit can stay with them, keep it close, and in the end, I think they can pull it off.
Yeah, and I agree with you. If they pull this off, it opens up some eyes to that division. It's not just a one or two
that's it.
team.
Now it's not Green Bay, Minnesota, and everybody else. Now you got to look at it's Green Bay. Now Detroit, you got to worry about. Or is it going to be it's Green Bay and everybody else? Is it only Green Bay? Like, I don't know. But if Detroit can make a statement in this game, if they can build on that, move forward, because that's the only thing. Confidence is a deadly thing.
Yeah.
Once you get confidence, and I'm kind of seeing that a little bit with the Giants too. All of a sudden, they have confidence. They're buying into Dable. They're buying into what is going on there, and the players are staying with it. And once you believe, and once you have that confidence and belief are dangerous on a football team. And I guess, hey, we'll see. We'll see. Can week 3 be any wackier than week 1 or 2? I don't know. But it's going to be fun, I think.
So that's going to be our Blue Picks, which is sponsored by Dubby. Make sure you guys head over to dubby.gg and use the product code STSports18, all capital letters, to get 10% off your at checkout there. So I'm actually going to be pulling for you. Well, I mean, if the Lions pick works, then you finally get your first win, and I'll go 3-0 for the week.
Well, you're not going. I don't even think you went 2-1 last week. You have no evidence to show it.
Yes, I do. You just got to head over to podbean.com/STSports. So till next week, it's your good friend Jimbo
and King.
See ya.